Whichever are young, dumb, and full of coming-of-age movies is your favorite, we can all agree, whoever casts the older versions of these kids in these flicks, they're dreaming. Corey, drop that beat.
Welcome to More Gooder Than.
What's up, home tree?
What? Marty is stupid. Boom. Marty, you moron. Have a good time. I actually very
About 1,000 years. Anyways.
We're getting off on tangents. This is uphill scuttle.
Consider that a divorce.
Thanks for stopping by, Home Trees, and welcome to More Gooder Than, where we rate and dissect pop culture one episode at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Braden. I'm joined by my co-host, Corey Sasso.
What's up?
And Donnie the Dream Sequence Car.
Get it?
Skin that smoke. I'm sorry, I'm going to go in the
Skin it.
For those of you, I'm sorry. That's so funny. For those of you joining us for the first time, that's an old joke. It's not going to go away.
No, but they skin it in Stand By Me.
They do skin it.
Yeah, that's their like high five. Skin it.
I know.
Chris,
good.
you wet end.
Oh my gosh, your mother. Your mother. For those of you joining us for the first time here at MGT, Corey, Donnie, and I each take sides on a predetermined movie trio and try and sway the world to agree with our opinions on which one is most goodest. Today we have more voiceovers by grown-ups, people remembering America's past a little too fondly, and vomiting than you can shake a flashback at. It's that time of year, Home Trees, where we reflect on our own pasts, to our childhoods when things were simpler and we didn't have any of those big city Netflixes and your Twitter phones and the book faces. And right? I mean, come on, guys. And there are a few movies.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
You're on fire today. And there are a few movies that encapsulate those feelings more than Sandlot, Stand By Me, and Now and Then from 1995, not 2018. Right. The summer romp, secret hideout, having puberty-inducing flicks that we all know and love. So who's backing which film? Find out in this corner. So Corey, you actually came up with this one.
Yeah, I like I said before, I knew Donnie was a huge fan of Stand By Me. I knew we had to put it in an episode.
Which just kind of felt like watching it too.
Yeah, that's what it was. I hadn't seen it. I wanted to see it. I knew Donnie loved it. So I was like, okay, that's Donnie's pick. And then I thought about Sandlot, which is another coming of age movie. And I thought that's right up Chris's alley. And,
love that movie.
And I like Now and Then. So I was like, this is like a match made in heaven.
It's really
Let's
good.
Do it.
Solid ep.
It was a very... I just had a big smile on my face through all these movies. Just like, oh, I remember this.
My computer now has like digital syphilis thanks to the janky website you guys sent me to for Now and Then.
It's
But
impossible to find.
still,
It was hard.
Has feline AIDS now.
yeah.
Someone got some deaths. So sit back, relax, indulge in a. Oh well. So yeah,
I basically said, I picked for you.
Yeah, you did pick for us. Yeah. So sit back, relax, indulge in a seance and some underage tobacco use, and let us show you the goods.
It's good.
Your mother had a quickie with Big D.
Stand By Me, the apex of the coming-of-age genre. This classic hits all the standard tropes: camaraderie, mortality, the breaking away from parental molds, and of course, tons of homoeroticism.
Why didn't they kiss? It would have been a much better movie if they would have kissed. Here's the thing, guys. The hoods, the hoodlums, they did find the body first. They deserved to have it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but they were embarrassed about why they were out there because they lifted a car, right?
Boosted a car.
I'm sorry.
Lifted is also
Yeah.
he's okay.
Yeah.
I'm all right. You lift it, you boost it, whatever.
Boosted is more proper if we're doing slang.
Boosted is what they said.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's the 50s term.
Dude,
I was using the 60s slang.
Ace Merrill is a fucking
Lunatic.
scary sociopath.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They're doing that drag race, and he just was not going to move.
Just
I won.
dead-eyed. Yeah, and he's not even like happy about it. Guess I won.
Yeah, he said to prove to them that he's the baddest of all of them.
Oh my gosh.
What assholes knocking the mailboxes down? I hate hoodlum teenagers.
Yeah.
It's just
Such
like
a dick thing to do.
those people all will be dead soon. It's just from drug overdoses at some point, like for sure. Or the Vietnams will probably kill most of them coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can only hope, right?
I'm sure they probably dodged the draft. They're the type. Yeah.
Bone Spurs.
Well, if we'd sent Ace, we might have won.
Actually, right. Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay! This movie, I was the entire time I was watching, because I've seen it multiple times, but I haven't watched it probably in 5 or
It's been a while for me too.
it's been probably maybe not 10 years, but it's been a while.
I haven't seen it in 37 years.
So Corey, you watching it, how incredible was the acting from those kids?
I'm always impressed with child actors. I actually think all the actors in all 3 of these movies are great. It seems like it'd be something hard to find, good actors. But yeah, they're all really good. They're really good.
River Phoenix.
See, I don't really ever remember River Phoenix being like a feature of my childhood. I don't
Kind of
think I
died
watched
before.
Yeah,
you
and that's
came
the thing
up.
is he died really young, but I had always heard the name like River Phoenix. I knew Corey Feldman and River Phoenix were good friends. That's right, they were good friends. Or is it Johnny Depp and
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. That's what it was. Yeah.
It's easy to get Johnny Depp and Corey Feldman mixed up.
They've had basically the same career trajectory,
Yeah.
Corey
right?
Feldman. Oh, Corey Feldman was good friends with Corey Haim. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah,
Corey Haim just
The
died.
Coreys.
I knew that there were like these little friendships.
If
in
only
Hollywood.
there was some way, like mnemonic device for you to remember
for
that,
me to
Corey.
remember the name Corey, right?
It's me, Corey!
I knew as I said it, I was like, no, that's not right. It was somebody else. But anyways, the point is that I knew that River Phoenix was like this big name, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I'd never seen what was the movie we watched before with the kids in the bubble that flew into space?
Explorers.
Explorers. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything with him in it.
The working title was The Kids in the Bubble
Yeah.
That Flew into
but
Space.
he's a really solid actor. I think in both the
Yeah.
films that I've seen with him, like I was like, dang, he's impressive as a kid.
His crying. That's when I usually notice when somebody's, especially someone who's young, like it's in those crying scenes. Like how can you still get across your lines while you're emoting to such a huge degree?
Yeah.
And it was impressive. And my parents were really, when River Phoenix died, that hit my parents really hard because he was similar ages. He was younger than them, but like they watched him his entire career. It was similar for like us when like, especially me, because Donnie's like ancient now.
Yeah, but I'm about the same age as your parents.
Yeah. But when Heath Ledger died, just like, oh, he's young. He's been in so many movies that we've watched. So anyway.
He was one of the dudes from New Kids on the Block, right? Heath Ledger?
Yeah. With Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. But I love this movie. I'm glad, and you liked it too, right, Corey?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's very dark and sad, like it's a downer.
It feels like Stephen King wrote it or something.
Yeah.
Does that dude just crap out success
Pretty much.
while on cocaine?
This was really like the first decent adaptation of his stuff, though. And I think like Stephen King has said that himself. Like,
don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. Yeah,
or across those tracks.
Yeah.
That scene, like when I saw that, I was like, just don't even go take the 2 miles around that it would take.
no, it's 5 miles each way.
Yeah,
This was in what, the 1960s?
There's just nowhere to go.
That would take
a train
4
comes.
days to go 10 miles.
I would have actually like took a break.
Wait, let's not cross over that right there. So just like distance was different in the 60s too.
Well, and like these kids didn't have like a car.
Yeah. 10 miles is not that big a deal on a car, but on foot,
Yeah.
that's like a whole day. And I knew they didn't have a whole day. So, I mean, if they had to go across those tracks, I would have waited until a train passed and then immediately go. Because there's not another train for a little while.
But, they didn't know, like, there might not have been a train for hours.
I would have went across the track.
You would have crossed the track.
Home trees. Would you have gone? Would you? Having not, of course, obviously a train comes. We've all seen this movie now. Now that Corey's seen it, everyone's seen it now.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you've joined the 7 billion other people. I would have gone across because, like, you can.
I certainly wouldn't have walked or crawled. I would have ran.
Yeah.
Oh, not like the chunky kid that's
You
just
wouldn't
like
have, you wouldn't have
crawling.
lollygagged.
No.
Oh, you scamp. No, I mean, I know from experience living out here, there's a train track. Just down, not even down that road.
That one always creeps me out because there's a bunch of trees kind of next to
You
it.
can't see it.
So, and there's no arms. There's
Yeah.
no lights either.
My brother's missed it. A train has missed him by inches.
Yeah.
Because you don't even see it.
Actually, I don't know if I ever talked about it, but on Race Across America, the first time I went, which was before the podcast, there was a train crossing like that because you take a lot of back roads. And so you always have a trail car behind the bicyclist. And then you have other vans that are like kind of leapfrogging and going up and dropping the next rider off or scouting. And I remember we went across tracks like that where there was like just trees all along the tracks. And then you go across it, and I remember like turning to my window, and there was just a train right next to me. And I got on the radio because the bicyclist was right behind us, like maybe like a tenth of a mile. And I got on the radio real quick, and I was like, alert, there's a train coming. Make sure that the bicyclist knows about that. So they had to like kind of like get up in front of him to guide him through.
The funny thing is about it is trains are not quiet.
No, but when you're in a car and you get your windows rolled,
and that's it.
Yeah.
And so
and you just go across that track, and you're like, holy shit, there's a train right freaking there. Eesh. No arms, no lights, nothing.
the kid that's the only thing is the kids would have heard it.
He tried to listen to the tracks, but it was not enough.
Do you listen with the good ear or the bad ear?
Yeah.
No, that was.
I know. I'm just,
Gordy was checking the tracks.
but home trees, yes or no over the tracks? I would have gone no. If it's like walk 10 miles or 100 yards.
No, I
100 yards.
Yeah, when given those two choices as a kid, I probably would have made the choice to go across the tracks. But I'm just as an adult, and I'm thinking like fearing for like my kids, like who are they going to hang out with? Who's going to influence them to do things? So I'm going through the process of like, okay, what do I teach my kids to keep themselves safe? In situations like this.
Don't go over the train tracks when you're trying to find a dead body, and I won't see you for 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what was kind of sad is like there was like this sort of like undertone of like none of these parents really like cared about their kids.
No, not at all.
Yeah, John Cusack's
things were
character.
different. I think probably at that partime, like there was less scary stuff.
Kids, parents didn't love their
60s,
kids.
right? Oh no, it's late 50s.
No, here's the thing, and I always want to try and combat this. They always say, "Oh, there's less scary things." That is not true.
Yeah,
there was the same amount of horrible things happening.
We just heard about it less.
Yeah, we know more about it now.
People are a million times safer now, and like you're safer because people are more aware of it because it's been reported.
Yeah.
Don't do this. Like all those things like, oh yeah, poor Johnny, we missed him. It doesn't get reported across the United States. It just is your little local town of Derry where it eats it and Pennywise.
Also, like what'd you say, 59?
59, yeah.
So like in Oregon in 59, there were probably like 20,000 people in the entire state.
And half of those were definitely people that were going to steal children.
No, so I the reason why I'm saying that is one, it's a kind of sort of like a played out trope, like things were better, make America great again, right?
Yeah.
It was safer. It wasn't, and I've always argued this. You just didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
But there was a smaller population, so statistically, you probably were less likely to experience those kinds of things in a smaller town.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think as the population grows, it creates like stress.
It's not Chicago during Prohibition. I'm not saying that. Which we watched The Untouchables the other day. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, freaking Kevin Costner, man. Still, same thing. Everybody else is so good in that movie. Like, why? Why?
That dude that plays Frank Nitti is creepy as hell.
Oh my gosh. He screamed like a pig. Like, oh, what are you doing? Don't talk like that. Why does your face exist? It's so scary.
Yeah.
They are so unrelentingly terrible to each other. And I remember that you are pretty terrible to your friends when you're a teenager.
Yep.
And like
2 for flinching, all that
all
shit.
it's so like we always did I'm not going to do it because I'm an adult, but like
Woody's.
You put the
circle on your
circle and put
thigh.
put it below your
look
thigh.
at it, you punch them.
Oh, that was a nonstop. We would have pantsing wars with each other.
Yeah.
Then we did the one where it's like you look down and then you and everything. We took that to an art form. One time I had a friend. He ran at me straight up, jumped and just landed on the ground. Like, oh, are you okay? And he's like, like, okay, you got me. Everything. And you're like, yeah, you're just really. But then you do have those moments of love that like between Will Wheaton.
Little boys are dicks, but they pack together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stood up for each other in the end. That one River Phoenix was like just standing there, and then
he was gonna die.
Will Wheaton shot that gun in the air and stood with him. He was totally gonna die. Kiefer Sutherland was gonna kill him. He was gonna slit his throat.
Honestly, legitimately, he should have shot Kiefer Sutherland.
Just to put the world out of their misery.
General precaution. Just always shoot Kiefer Sutherland.
At least he rises from the ashes as Jack Bauer and everything. Yeah. And I also remember that the only thing that's different between me and the kids was that you did not talk about the other guy's mom. Everything else was on the table, but you don't talk about each other's mom.
Yeah, I don't remember that being super prevalent until high school. And that might have been, maybe we had just watched Stand By Me or something like that.
Hey, don't do that. Like they were ruthless about each other's moms. It was, it was brutal. Yeah, you just didn't. Everything was cool. Don't talk about each other's moms. Your mom's so fat that she. But like, anyway, I really enjoyed the movie.
I mean, this, like I said, this is a big part of like my childhood. What was this, 86, 88? When did this come out?
86.
So yeah, I was 9 when it came out. I probably didn't see it until 87 or 88. But yeah, just at the time, like, I think we were kind of listening to like old rock music, like 50s and 60s shit. So like all that music was cool. Just these kids were like up and coming cool actors at the time. So everything, it was just a perfect storm of like awesome coming of age movie.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have really enjoyed it had I seen it at that age. I just never saw it.
It's true.
Yeah.
But the difference between this movie and other nostalgia movie, like kid movies, like Goonies. Like I can understand someone not loving Goonies because it's just more of like it's more of an action adventure.
It's fun. Yeah.
This is purely designed to be an adult movie,
adult content for kids,
super
that's
mature,
really heavy. Yeah,
and so that's the difference between like nostalgia movies and movies that have kids in them. It's a very fine line, but this movie's really, really good.
There's some fun stuff too, though. The leeches, the lard ass story.
The leeches are bad. The lard ass story was funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Like, was it on his?
It's funny because they talk about how good of a story writer he is, and then I guess you're kind of expecting like an adult level story, but then when he tells you, like, oh yeah, that's what a 13-year-old kid would. That's a story he would make up, and it's good for 13.
It's Richard Dreyfuss.
And now, like, did this movie start the whole like, just the like their campfire conversations, just like the weird like random bullshit conversations? Like I know that's like a Tarantino staple now.
I'm sure he loved this movie.
Yeah, had to have, right?
I don't know. Like you also had westerns did that, the campfire stories and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Just like the because like that
they're
story
sitting around just talking like pop culture at the time. Like
the best conversation that was had during the entire movie is the Superman versus Mighty Mouse. Well, you idiot, Superman's a real person. But it'd be a good fight. But then it was like, it'd be a good fight though. Yeah, it'd be a real good fight. Like this is like, but like, how many times have we had those conversations too? Like, man, who's like, would Wolverine win?
Especially at that age. That was what me and my friends were always doing.
That's all you talk. Well, would the Hulk win or would Superman win? Well, idiot, Superman can fly. So like, anyway,
so can the Hulk pretty much. You can jump real high.
Yeah, but then Superman would shoot him off into space with a punch, and then like, bye. He's not coming. He's gonna have escape. We are having that conversation right now, aren't we?
The Hulk can't die though. Superman can die.
Hulk can die.
Can he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Argument over.
I mean, Superman died and then came back, so you can make the argument that he can't die either.
Yeah. So behind the scenes stuff, kind of, I guess. Apparently Corey Feldman says that like this character is like the closest to who he is as a real person, and so it's kind of like a little dipshit, right? So like him and River Phoenix and Will Wheaton, they were getting into all kinds of hijinks and stuff while they were on like this like in the hotel, like while they were filming. It's like during the nights. Like I guess Will Wheaton was going down to the lobby and like fixing the video games so they could play them for free. They were doing all kinds of shit. It
doesn't surprise me that Will Wheaton was the one doing that.
Yeah, and then like they would just like take like the poolside furniture and toss it into the pool at night. And just
what was O'Donnell doing the entire time? O'Donnell or O'Connell?
It says Jerry O'Connell was like a part of their little group. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So all four.
You said three.
I said the three big names, but sorry.
Okay. No, I just thought it's like what you say. Like, did they leave Jerry out? It's like, get out of here, Jerry. So you're not part of the cool group.
Jerry O'Connell was the Vern of the group.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
You had to have a Vern.
He was involved with all of it too, and I guess the other guys tricked River Phoenix into throwing mud onto Kiefer Sutherland's car.
Oh no!
And like he found out later on that it was Kiefer Sutherland. I can't say.
You got it. It's okay.
Kiefer. I keep saying Kiefer. Kiefer Sutherland. Because there's a TH
it's
in
Kiefer Sutherland.
I know, right?
It's Kiefer Sutherland.
My tongue wants to say the same at the same time. Anyways, he came out. He's pissed, and like they were all laughing at River Phoenix, and he was all scared. He thought that like
He was going to kill him?
Yeah, he's going to slit his throat.
I love, it sounds so weird. I love the sound of Keith Sutherland's voice. I do. It's got this
He's
weird.
got that X factor where it's just like you just kind of enjoy looking at him and listening to him talk. Yeah.
He's beautiful in this movie.
The movies came out around the same time, but like this character is way scarier than his Lost Boys vampire character.
Yeah.
that
game
true.
was hardcore too. They were like giving each other like the
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I really hope they wash it off.
Yeah,
It's
stop
one of those-
moving. You're going to mess up my snake.
And it's always nice because like they had, if we didn't like them before, then you punctuate it with some like racism and everything in there too, or anti-Semitism.
My favorite Ace Merrill line was where the two that actually knew roughly where the body was, they're like, maybe we shouldn't go, because we boosted that car. And Ace is like, well, you've spoken your piece, you've made your point. Now get in the fucking car.
And that's how the alpha works too. It's like, you got to know, you come with me, strength in numbers. That was a really good line. There's but like similarly, like there's the scary dog. Everyone knew the dog
Chopper
that was going to bite. The same thing like we talk about in Sandlot with the beast.
Yeah,
it's we had a dog that you stayed away from. It was called Bear.
Yeah,
and like
the legendary dog that really is. It's just
fine.
a dog.
Like if I saw it now, I'd be like, oh, it's just, hey, sweet puppy.
It has no like supernatural capabilities.
But like, did you guys have the dog or some type of animal that was around your neighborhood? I mean, you had the kukui that was just out in the middle of the.
Are we on the next movie?
No, because Chopper was like bite balls,
sick balls.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I forgot about Chopper. I was thinking talking about Beast.
There was that we owned that dog.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
So you were old man Carr and this dog Chopper.
Velvet. She was a Queensland healer and she was super protective of our property.
Man, that's so funny.
Yeah, she was awesome.
That Bear was this like modeled pit bull that if it was out, we had to go inside. Like, and the dog was fine. It didn't do anything. Never did anything.
Yeah.
But it was like,
you're like, oh, it's Bear 30. We got to go in.
But no, like, it would be like they're one of the little brothers because like there's the same thing hierarchy of like older brothers down to the little brothers.
Yeah.
My cul-de-sac that I grew on, there was like 14 boys that were on this cul-de-sac, and we were just like this little street gang. And just playing till same thing because you felt safe on the cul-de-sac. There was no traffic.
We lived in a cul-de-sac, and there wasn't quite 14 of us. There was probably
14 of us,
6 to 8 at any given time. But
yeah. It's a good time, man. It's a great way to grow up.
Your older brother Eyeball was one of the sociopathic gang members.
Exactly. Yeah, they all have like really cool names. No, but like there'd always be like a little brother on the lookout, and his job was bears out, and he was just scatter like roaches. Mom, what are we ever going to do? The real sad thing is there was this kid. His name was. There was 3 Nicks on the street too, and so there was
my friend Nick,
my brother,
friend Nick,
yeah,
my friend Nick.
There was my brother's name is Nick, and then there was Nick across the street, and there was Nick over the fence, and Nick over the fence was not allowed to come. Yeah.
Hey, Nick over the fence. Can you see Bear?
I was talking to Nick the other day. I hate Nick. No, Nick over the fence.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that guy.
But Nick over the fence was not allowed to come out of his yard. And so, and his grandma watched him, and he had a chain link fence around his front yard. The only
you guys
one
always kind of gathered on the fence and hung out with Nick.
No, I'm sitting there thinking about it. You just would sit there.
You never said anything more than his eyes.
No, I mean, it wasn't. But I'm just thinking about like this poor kid, what his grandma would not let him come out of the chain link fence.
That's sad.
And so he just was sitting there staring at us and be like, hey, come play over here. Hey, come play over here. And he just would sit there.
You just play hide and go seek and you know exactly where to find
No, like
Nick.
we're playing football or riding our bikes or whatever. I know, right? Yeah. You always find Nick. Ah, he's right there.
Dang it.
But yeah, thinking about like, that is really sad. You know that he's messed up now. Like, I just
For sure.
watch these kids
He's a
play.
shut-in, yeah.
He's like wearing his grandma's skin.
Oh my gosh.
And doing her voice and not letting, like every time he goes out to get food, to the store, like he screams at himself when he comes back, I told you not to leave.
But my friends were playing football in the cul-de-sac.
He's like 39.
Poor kid, man. He'd be about 30 right now. Yeah.
Anyway, this movie was super fun and relatable.
Right. Moving on.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's good.
We're calling our shots in this quickie with Big D.
The Sandlot. Badass MILF Marion Ravenwood shows her domestic side in this movie about kids and softball or something. I don't know.
The entire movie.
She was pretty hot. And there was a scene where she wasn't wearing a bra. And I was just like, dang, like that was a little risque for this movie. It was a kid's movie.
I love this movie. Why is it a lie? Why is my childhood a lie?
Oh, so at the end, this is the first time I'd seen this movie, and I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool movie, and like totally fits the mold for this episode.
Yeah.
So at the end, Vader says he played with the 27 Yankees.
Yeah.
That is bullshit. Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1947. This movie is inaccurate.
It's a lie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like I read something about this, and you're right, but it was something that had something to do with like they referred to the Negro Leagues, and they would do stuff that was like non-official games, like exhibition games or something. I can't remember what I read.
So could they do some stuff with like the majors?
Yeah, Jackie Robinson did break the color barrier as
he was the first one to like actually play in the major leagues.
But there were other people that had played, but it wasn't permanent. Jackie Robinson was permanent.
Okay, so maybe it's possible that Vader like did some stuff with the 27 Yankees.
Does that guy ever voice anything that's not perfection?
It is just very entertaining to just watch him talk and just hear that voice come out of him.
Everything about him. Everything the light touches.
But it's like also he's obviously
Pride
played to his strength, but like just the way he enunciates words and the way he like his the way his lips and his teeth and everything move, it's all just very deliberate.
Well, he had a horrible speech impediment growing up.
Did he? So he probably really practiced
He had
the way
to practice
that he
the way that he spoke.
Although when he first opens the door, like at the end of the movie, why didn't they trim his nose hairs? I didn't
catch that.
Yeah,
because
I'm
he's blind.
surprised.
Why would he care about his nose hairs?
know.
I guess that's accurate for the character, but it was.
They actually
it was
added nose hairs
distracting.
for this character.
Yeah, there was like
Part of
CGI.
he had to do 2 hours in a costume suit, to have that put on.
It is so funny that this is what we're focusing on in this movie with him with his erector set, and we've talked about Marion Ravenwood's
hat.
Talking about Marion Ravenwood being hot and the inaccuracies of the Negro Baseball League.
Well, this is
we could go on and on about this forever.
This is a callback to Stand By Me, where this is a campfire discussion.
Yeah. This is
Well, if we don't talk about those things, all we're doing is just like recapping the funny jokes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true. No, it is. This movie is very funny.
We've been going about this the wrong way. I blame myself mostly.
You're killing me, Smalls. How many times have you said that this year?
I finally get that.
That's right. So
That's where that reference comes
So
from.
you never seen this before?
No.
yeah, I just said that.
Wow, that's cool.
And people say that a lot.
Yeah, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I actually never realized that was his name. I thought that they just said it because he was small. He was smaller than everybody else.
Small. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought they were just that was his nickname. Like and I don't know what were the other nicknames.
Blackie.
Squints. The heater.
Squints, yeah.
Squints. Michael Squints Palmadoris or whatever.
So I thought they
he married
just, like-
Wendy Peppercorn, had 9 kids.
Yeah.
Stick it to her. Yeah.
So that teaches kids that you can meet 2 girls and still end up with them, right?
It's-
Yeah.
That's the valuable lesson. Let's make America great again, guys.
She like respected him after that. Like the
But that's what I'm saying. Like he without consent, kissed
it's
her,
really bad.
and then she was into it. So that's just teaching kids like, oh, then I just need to go ahead.
this was
and,
what 62.
I should go ahead and just take what belongs to me.
What
Women belong to me. I just
what-
grab them by the pussy, and then it's all good.
What year was this supposed to be set in?
60. I'd say 60. Let's say 65.
Or no, it's
Oh no, I know.
late.
It's 62.
No, it was.
It's 62.
Yeah, okay, it was 62. The next one is like 70 or 71.
Because I remember I was like, oh, this is cool because we did a movie from the 50s, movie from the 60s, and a movie from the 70s.
That's awesome how that
barely
worked
reached
out.
but yeah, it worked
Dang,
out.
you're right.
Yeah.
I love it when we do things
Yeah.
on
I
accident.
don't know. It's all part of my master plan, guys.
PCM has to raise.
This is a professionally
it's
curated
definitely
episode.
problematic. But I'm going to ignore that
Exactly.
for the sake of this movie. No, but you are 100%.
At that time period, it probably was okay to do that.
I was-
I mean,
it-
it was never okay, but it was, I guess, popularly accepted.
It's never okay.
It was within social norms.
And then also, when the movie was made, it's still we hadn't come out of that era of like, it's within social norms.
They had 9 kids. You taking a drink? I was trying to say something funny to make you spit it out. But no, this goes back to this with the Beast. Like everything about this movie is similar. Like you heard a story from another guy.
Yeah.
Like we had this house that was not abandoned. It wasn't abandoned in the cul-de-sac, but it wasn't always occupied. It was always like sometimes it was for. I'm gonna say now I sound like an idiot. Sometimes it was for sale.
You've mentioned this house before.
Yeah, and like it wasn't like derelict or anything. It just was not always occupied.
Yeah.
And so we told stories about that house all the time.
Yeah.
There's always murders happening in that house, you know, and that's similar to like the way that they are in the very prevalent amount of tree houses and like secret like hideaways too.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a fort or something?
Nothing that was permanent. We would build them. So I grew up in a neighborhood that was like kind of semi-custom homes. And so like there were a lot of empty lots and there was like big fields that were eventually going to be developed.
Yeah.
So we would go out with like trench things and we would like actually get into those trenches and have like dirt clod fights. And we'd find extra construction materials and build like badass forts, but they would never last for a long time because somebody would come through and clear it all out.
My grandparents, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
There was one that was a whole bunch of pallets. And so I built this pallet fort with multiple rooms that were separated and all done with just like the little ties. They were just like tying together. Like it was not structurally sound, but it was
not safe for kids to be playing in.
And then like I would just
fun.
like put a tarp over it and like, this is our fort. We had an actual like playhouse in our backyard that was, we called it the fort.
Yeah.
And like, so we would.
I didn't have that. Although there weren't any like, we lived out in the sticks. There weren't any other kids, so I didn't need to fortify against anything. Like
except for the zombie attack.
Yeah.
Well, you had to fortify against your imaginary friends.
Yeah, that's true.
These movies are more vehicles for us to speak about our childhoods. My dad told me that at one point he tunneled under the garage at his parents' house when he was growing up. It's like under the foundation, like,
and then the foundation cracked and the house.
So he told me about it. Like he said, like, oh, there was enough for me to like stand up.
No,
he said there was enough for me to stand up.
That's childlike imagination. He probably could crawl in there.
Probably was enough, but he said like I had like my comic books down there and like some toys. And when his dad found out, it's like he should have died.
Yeah,
like everything should have just crushed underneath him and everything.
The times I think about like what I did as a kid and like, oh, I should have died.
Yeah.
The things that I did, like I should be dead now because I don't know how I survived that. Yeah. You make some dumb mistakes.
Dumb luck is how.
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember one time. Remember when you're on your swing. So Donnie, there were these things called swings.
Well, I had one of those.
Okay, good. And
it didn't require another person, so I had one.
So you would swing, you jump off.
Yeah.
And everything. Well, I tried to Superman at one time.
Ooh.
So I stretched out flat and it just landed flat on my chest. Yeah. I just thought it was going to be so smart.
You collapsed a lung.
I actually thought it was the first time that I did think that I was going to die. Yeah. Like, I'm going to die because you can't breathe. And when I finally was able to breathe, like, it's like, oh, that was terrible.
That is the worst feeling. It's probably only like 2 seconds of terror where you get the wind knocked out of you and you're trying everything you've got to bring it back in. You can't. And you're like, I've collapsed my lung. Like there's no way to inflate it again.
We had a little 4-wheeler and there was just dirt roads and like bumps and stuff. And so
bums or bumps?
Bumps.
Both.
So there was
they were
like
bums that were laying on the ground. They were just bumps. So
there was cool like there was all kinds of places to
bumps.
Yeah. There was all kinds of places to ride that 4-wheeler. So my sister and I were riding together once. She was driving and I was just on the back. And I told her, I know this stretch we're coming up on. There's bumps. Slow down.
Bumps.
She guns it. We hit the first one. I fly up over in front of her and she plows right over me.
Oh my God.
I can still like hear the sound of the 4-wheeler, the crunch. And like the strain on the engine getting over me.
Did you break anything?
No, I was fine. But it was.
How old were you?
When you're young, you're made of rubber, man.
I was probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah. Are you older or younger than your sister?
I'm 5.5 years younger.
Younger, okay. I never met Donnie's sister, and I really want to.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I have. I have met her. I met her at Otto's.
Right.
A few months ago.
Yeah, that's true.
I have not.
She's like a mini Nan.
I love that. So that means she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Likes Hamilton. People talk about like, oh, I'm in the best shape of my life. Lies. Best shape of your life, you're 8.
Yeah.
Like you get ran over by a quad.
Yeah.
You Superman off of a Superman off of a swing.
Yeah.
You jump out of a tree. You cry for like I don't know,
What?
10 seconds.
That's not the best shape that you're in. It's the most indestructible you are.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I was toned when I was 8.
No, but then also at the same time, like you could run for miles.
Yeah.
And
You have tons of energy.
Yeah, so
that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like I remember riding my bike all day.
Yeah.
All day.
It's so funny when you get to our age, you think of all these like old phrases that old men say, and you actually can relate to them. Like I always remember the phrase that youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah.
And like as a kid, I didn't really get it, but now it's like I watch my kids, like my 7-year-old, and he is just sitting in this chair, just bouncing around, just like brimming with energy. He can't sit still.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like constantly making noise. It's like it probably hurts. Like he's got so much energy that he has to get it out because it hurts his body. And it's like, God, if you could just like siphon that off and like sell that, like bottle it and sell it to people, you make millions. Just have a whole factory of kids just sitting there, just sucking the energy out of them.
It's
You
called
get a
it is It's called
treadmill and a
crack.
generator. You could your kid could probably power your house.
right?
Or you just chew
Harness that. Put that kid to work.
cocaine.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
do
but
all-
that doesn't last forever. Like these kids, like
neither
they're
does-
perfectly
neither does-
healthy.
Neither does you.
Well, once that one is past his prime and it's time to put him down, have another kid.
Yeah.
Just breed them, get some other new kids, and then
Yeah.
this is terrible.
So terrible.
The Sandlot.
What's something you've done that was like you should have died?
Well, I just remember like actually like 17 or 18, I had some friends who had 22s and their dads had taken them hunting. So we got it in our head to go hunting. Well, I didn't really actually have any experience with firearms. And so I just remember like just putting the gun down and just aiming at the wrong places. I remember at one point, they had told me to hide the gun because they thought like a ranger or somebody was around. So they told me to hide the gun in a bush. And I put it in backwards, butt first,
Oh
like
my
facing
gosh.
me. And they're like, no, put it in barrel first. And so then I pull it back out, like a twig could have just hit that trigger. And
Yeah.
I got it facing right at me, like just dumb stuff.
Wow.
Then later on, like when you actually figure out like actual like muzzle safety, you're just like shuddering
Oh
because of
my
what
gosh.
you did when you're younger.
Yeah.
I remember one time I went over a ramp in my mountain bike. It was like riding around my cul-de-sac. You do that mountain bike.
And your
Yeah.
wheel just bent. You went end over end.
Yeah, that too. That did happen when my tire bent when I tried to do like a skid, like tried to do like a skid stop, and like it just my wheel just.
Oh, I did that one time, and actually, I was trying to do really cool. My friends were all kind of like lined up with their bikes, and I
Yeah.
wanted to ride up and like skid right next to them.
Yeah,
Overthought it, skid into them, knocked them all over.
Yep.
Our bikes got all tangled up. We're all mixed up inside of it. Arms through spokes. And stuff. It was just
Some
it was
kid has
terrible.
a pedal in his eye.
Pretty much, yeah.
We used to go to this place. I want to say it was in like Shirley Meadows when I was 16, 17. And we found this, I wouldn't even call it a slope. When we go to like sled in the snow, it was basically a vertical drop. There was rocks in the snow. We should have broken our necks and every other bone. And like we would just go down it. We'd like get all bruised up and shit. We'd just be laughing and like, that's stupid. Like we could have
But your bodies don't break when you're kids. You're literally made of rubber.
Yeah.
bend don't break. I went over a ramp, and these ramps were probably like maybe like a foot off the ground. Yeah. But like to me, it's like, oh, I'm gonna catch serious.
Fly
Some
for, like,
Evil Knievel shit right there. Like Snake River
I'm gonna
Canyon.
look down on you guys from the sky.
Waiting and everything. And I landed, and you know how the mountain bikes had like the claws on them. It sliced my Achilles tendon,
Ah, God.
and but only halfway. So there was nothing they could do except for me just not moving. Oh, it's horrible. It was horrible.
I was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I was running on like park benches,
Oh yeah,
running and jumping from one to the next.
yeah.
And they were just spaced out randomly. And so I was having fun. I did like 4 or 5 of them. And
You
then,
were hardcore parkouring.
yeah, I pretty much before
Yeah.
parkouring was the thing. And so I was going and going and going, and I had a bunch of speed. And I go to do the jump, and I get to the edge, and I realize I can't make this one. So I kind of like stepped a little bit to stop myself. And then I was in the air thinking I was going to land somewhere in between the two.
Oh.
And in the air, I'm like, I can make this. I can do it.
So you double jumped?
So I put my foot.
You
no.
double jumped in the air?
But at this point, I already slowed my jump. You know what I mean? So I could have made it had I went full speed,
Yeah.
but I'm in midair and I'm like, I'm making pretty good ground. I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot out and try and catch that ledge.
Oh no.
And my foot just barely hit it, slipped off, and my shin, just straight up my shin, it took all the skin off my shin, all the way up to my kneecap, from like ankle to kneecap, and there was just this big clump of pushed skin, but that was still attached at the top. I was screaming in pain.
Oh yeah, for sure. Did your shin break?
That was a moment where I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to pass out. My shin did not break.
That's it. Never breaks.
Didn't break, but the
Never
skin,
breaks.
So it took weeks for that actually to atrophy and die.
Do you still have a score? Do you still have the scar?
Yeah, I do have the scar. You want to see it?
Kind of.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you're wearing leggings today.
Well,
you almost always wear shorts.
Yeah, I know. We are stopping right now to look at the scar. What we're doing right now is basically having the scene from Jaws.
Yeah.
I
And it's amazing.
don't remember which leg it was now.
Really made an effect on you. Oh, you can't really see it. I'll drink to your leg. Oh, your pants are fantastic, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, all the way down here, but this is the worst part.
Hey, this guy is a physical flaw. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
I never had any like major injuries like that. No, like super trauma. I was playing when my dad was building the house that my mom still lives in now. I was playing out like in the construction site, just running around in the mud and the like wood and shit. And I stepped on, like I had a nail go through my toe.
Had that, yeah.
I can still hear that sound too. It's kind of like breaking a carrot or like, yeah, something like that. Just
It went all the way through?
Yeah, it was poking up through.
Yeah.
I can't even.
It was like muddy and stuff, and it was cold, so my feet were numb, so it didn't really hurt at all.
When I learned the lesson about not playing outside barefoot was I was playing at a neighbor's house, and he had like an old it was a patio, but he had like railings and stuff, but it was old. This was old wood, and there was just like rusty nails and stuff sticking out of it. And I was playing barefoot, kicked that thing, and it went underneath with a nail, in between the meat and the nail. God, that was psychologically damaging because that's just a super sensitive spot. But yeah, I just remember the pain.
You have to pull it out.
Yeah, and he took me to his bathroom, the father of my friend, and poured peroxide or something on it. I don't remember what it was at the time, but I just remember that was excruciatingly painful. Like it was bad. Yeah, so I wore shoes from then on out.
I looked down when I heard that like sound, and saw the nail sticking up through my big toe. And I like I said, my feet were numb. I didn't feel it, so I don't remember like taking my foot off, but I guess I pulled it out. But when I went to tell my mom, like I was like, I stepped on a nail and went through my toe. Like I wasn't crying. It didn't hurt.
Just very nonchalant. Oh yeah, Mom, I stepped on a nail earlier.
Well, and she's like, well, shit, we got to go get you a tetanus shot. That's when I started crying.
It's a shot.
Shots do have that. Yeah.
So stepping on. Mine was mine's when I. You said the same thing. Yeah. Everyone's seen this movie. Now that Donnie's seen it, everybody's seen this movie. You can't. It's like this is one of the most quoted movies of our generation. Yeah. Everyone's you're the great Bambino, and when I learned to always
the great Bambi, that dorky deer, whatever he says.
When I started wearing shoes playing outside, I stepped on a coal at a campsite.
Oh God!
Yeah.
And it was like, that was really bad. No, so I remember lying my face off to my other male friends, especially. Like you did not want to pretend that you didn't know something.
Oh, when
especially at that age. Like now it's like, oh yeah, whatever, But like that time. Oh, I thought you said the great Bambi. I remember that we used to. Remember you would play something at school. Like we used to play like Mortal Kombat, or something. I remember one time everyone wanted to play Alien, like the movie Alien, because Alien 3 had just come out, and so like. Some people would be the good guys and some people had to be the xenomorphs or whatever. I had no idea what they were talking about. And so my character
talking about like your glass dome helmet and your laser pistol and all kinds of other alien tropes. But
no,
like, what are you talking about?
So I knew it because they had for some reason there were toys for Alien 3. I don't know why they needed the merchandise for children
for the shittiest Alien movie.
But so I would always play as Ripley. They said, you could be Ripley. And I didn't know that. So at the time, though, when you're in second grade, like, I wouldn't care. But like as a kid, like, yeah. And like later on, Ripley's the girl. I played as the girl. It just was pissed.
As you've pointed out before, you and Sigourney Weaver are the same height.
We are the same height, yeah.
When we were kids, when Hook came out, we were all like wanting to play.
Yeah.
So like me and my buddy who was my age, we wanted to be Peter Pan and Rufio. Mm-hmm. And then like my little brother was one of the other characters, I can't remember. And so we were like, somebody has to be Hook. So we forced like his little brother to be Hook. And I remember he hated it so bad. Right. Actually, he's one of our home trees. Andy Stevens. He hasn't commented in a long time. I'm not sure if he's still listening.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
He would cry so like, no, I don't want to be the old man, and he would just like piss. I'm like, yeah, you're Captain Hook. Just the different roles you decide out as kids.
But yeah,
it's fun.
But yeah, you would lie. Like, but like also, if you hadn't seen Hook, you would lie. Oh yeah, I totally seen Hook. I know everything about what you're trying to talk about right now.
I know that I did this. I'm trying to think about
Yeah,
what I would have lied at.
Yeah, exactly.
You've never seen Hook?
No.
Son of a bitch. we have to do Hook at some point. We were gonna do it on the pirate episode, but I feel like we can do a Peter Pan centric episode. I think there's enough Peter Pan movies out there.
Yeah, I just really think that the Peter. I mean, I'm so glad we watched Captain Blood. We were gonna do Hook instead of Captain Blood, but I love Hook.
Yeah, I'm glad we made the choice we did.
But yeah, you just lie that you know everything, and then like as you get older, when you're hitting your teens, you pretend you know more about like sex or like oh yeah, I've seen a boob, and then like yeah, maybe in like your mom's health magazine, there's like a thing about getting mammograms. That's
the
where you
lying
found
thing.
it.
I can't think of any specific examples because I know.
But you know what I'm talking about, yeah.
I know when I was a kid, like there was such emphasis on like name brand products. Like, what kind of cereal do you eat? And we always ate the Malt-O-Meal stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you would lie and say, oh, yeah, Kellogg's. You know, like you eat the name. I remember that there was a moment in like 6th grade when I finally realized like, I don't care anymore. And I remember I admitted that we used Zest soap.
Dude, Zest is the best, man.
Yeah. And it was funny because as soon as I broke that, all the other kids that were like sort of unsure, we use Zest too. Zest. They all started jumping in.
Zest was a name brand. What was the?
I don't
what was
know.
Irish
like
Spring?
Spring, Dove. I don't know.
Because remember in Irish Spring commercials,
Irish Spring is clean as a whistle.
The thing is that like when you're kids though,
I use
like,
Irish Spring
there's
now.
so much emphasis. If your jeans weren't Levi's, like you're wearing the knockoff jeans.
Yeah,
and it's like who cares? They look good. They look good, right?
And it's just a coming of age
I got
thing.
to the point where I realized like who really cares, and I admitted to using Zest body soap, and then all of the other kids started coming out of the woodworks. Yeah, we do too. We do too.
I really am fascinated by the fact that Zest was the one. I'm being serious.
That was the turning point. Was
Zest?
It's not like a top name brand though. It's not like an expensive one. That's just like the common one.
If you asked me like name a soap, it would be Zest and Irish Spring would be the only two that I could come up with right off the bat.
Although I mean, you're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Yeah, right.
You're not
like what soap do you guys use now? I buy Dove from Men. That stuff's so
I have a bar of Zest in my room right now. I switch between Zest and Irish Spring depending on which one's cheaper.
We're Dove, shea butter Dove.
Yeah, that's once you go Dove, man, you can't go back. That's so smooth.
It's mostly lotion. I do not feel clean after using Dove. I have great skin too, so I don't know. Sandlot's a really good movie. You've all seen it. This is basically just a chance for us to let's just say really funny things from our childhood. I do remember one time we had. You remember dollies that your dad would use to go.
Chris just wants to do this.
I am just doing it. Do you want to talk about Sandlot?
I think we should. I think we
a little bit. Yeah.
So Sandlot's a really good movie. I really wanted all those erector sets. Yeah. Apparently, Marion Ravenwood gets your erector set going too. Dennis Leary is an odd choice for a father too.
He was kind of a dick stepdad.
You know what?
He got it though.
Always
he came around.
Yeah, later.
I thought that, but over all of these movies, he was like the ideal parent.
Yeah.
All the other parents were so
even
terrible.
Richard Dreyfuss was kind of putting off his kids. Like,
no, Richard Dreyfuss.
That actually hit me a little bit because sometimes I do that. I'll admit, like my kids want my attention. And like, I just kind of want to be alone like for a little while. And like they come in my office and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. Like,
no, Richard,
like, what do you need?
The Richard Dreyfuss thing was he actually was a fantastic father because they had planned, they were on their way to go to do something really fun.
Yeah.
And
he was just having a moment.
And he was having a moment because his friend had just died.
Yeah.
And we didn't say it in this one, but that thing about having your friends, you never had a friend like you did when you were 12 years old. But like, do we ever? So true. Those friends at that point, you're never closer to anybody besides your friends when you're 12. Yes, I understand that you're emotional, you can grow, but like the bond that you have with
I think my friendship with you two gentlemen is stronger than anything I ever had when I was 12.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a sentimental moment. You guys were supposed to like shed a little tear.
He said, yeah. And
I said, yeah.
That was huge for him. He said, yeah.
I know. What I think it is when you're 12 though, that is like the largest part of your world.
That's what I'm talking about.
It means more. Yeah.
That like you have more mature relationships.
Sounds legit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did. Thank you. I appreciate the sentiment that you're doing. But he's a very good dad but then Richard Dreyfuss in Stand By Me, he was writing. He was actually at work.
Yeah,
and
that was
then
his home office.
And so he was finishing up, and he was like, he smiled and just like, yeah, I'll be up. I'll be out there in a minute, because that he was going to be not his dad. So he went out there, was doing towelies and everything in them and everything.
Towel snapping, is that what you call them, tallies?
I did now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh man, those were brutal. Like those were outlawed in our house. Towel snapping, if you did it,
lose an eye.
You were in so much trouble.
My wife right now is probably shaking her head, because that's something that I do. I'm actually really good at it.
Oh yeah.
Like, too good at it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've actually
like your sharp teeth.
Like I've actually snapped like flies, that are on the wall and stuff like that. Like I'm pretty.
So we like pie may out there.
I got a lot of precision when I do the towel snapping. I'm pretty good at it. And so like every once in a while, just being playful, I'll snap her, and
no.
Like, I don't know, like it doesn't hurt me, I guess, as much as it hurts other people, but like she told me like it really hurts.
Yeah,
like,
you're whipping. Yeah. You just whipped your wife.
I know.
Like
I feel bad.
That snapping
and
noise?
It doesn't hurt you as much because nobody is apparently as skilled as you are at
and
it.
That's what it is.
Try,
I'm very skilled.
Try
at
getting yourself. Get a hand towel and.
You know what? Hey, after this, I also consider myself fairly well versed in the fine art of towel snapping.
Well, I would.
And I'm going to shoot you with the bow.
I would allow you to do it only in front of my wife. She needs to enjoy the pain that I'll suffer.
Okay,
so that'll be.
So we're gaming on the 7th. So I will bring. I have a special towel. I'm going to wet the end too.
And it's got like some lead dust, like waiting. It's like a sap towel. It's a competitive towel snapper.
And then what I do is I actually take the towel and I put it into strips, and then I weave those strips into a bullwhip. And it's still technically a towel.
It's technically a towel. It's terry cloth.
Whoop-ah!
Dip it in broken glass once it's nice and wet.
Flate at the end, put some stones at the end of it. Yeah, cat of nine tails. Anyway, I'm going to
cat
whip
of nine
you.
towels.
Dennis Leary.
Yes!
Cat of nine tails. That's good. That's really good. Dennis Leary, he kind of came off as a little bit of a jerk, but he did step up, but he was just kind of like, man, this kid doesn't know jack shit about throwing the ball. It was funny when he couldn't throw, so he like runs it over and puts it into his glove.
Yeah. I mean, I identify. You just see these movies in so many different ways. Like now it's like you're an adult, like, oh, I don't want to be that dad and everything. So you're just like, my shift is so, I've shifted so much.
It just makes you recognize moments where you're like, oh, I could have been a better dad. You know what I mean?
No, I never have that feeling.
Yeah, whatever. You're perfect.
Nope, me neither.
Donnie's just a stepdad.
Whenever like I'm just sitting there chilling and nobody comes to bother me, I'm like, sweet. I get to keep doing this.
I was gonna say the thing that bothered me a little bit is like this entire movie wouldn't have existed if those kids would have just jumped the freaking fence and ran over there and got that ball right away.
No, that's not how it works, though, man.
No, it's not how the movie works. But it's like that's what they did in the end. Just jump the damn fence, do it really quickly, and the dog's not gonna bother you.
No, but like the thing
and
is,
you would have saved the ball.
Only a Babe Ruth signed ball would have like spurred them, or at least Benny, to do that. Like all the regular balls, all we need is 98 cents.
You also
was saying like it went over like, oh shit, let's quickly just get over there real quick. Just Benny, you're the fastest, go.
But you just don't.
And why weren't they called the Jets? Just the whole time I was like, Benny and the Jets. Like I felt like their team should have been the Jets.
They didn't have a team. They didn't call their name anything.
Yeah,
they should have been.
I mean, he later became Benny the Jet
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So they did do that. They didn't have a name. They were just a
joke. But
they were a loose affiliation at that point. Because he's not the leader of their gang.
Yes, he is.
Benny?
He's the alpha. He tells them exactly what to do. He did get outvoted one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a democracy,
One
obviously.
time.
Yeah, one time.
Because it was just so hot. They're like, let's go to the pool.
I'm making like a toasted cheeser out here. This pop ain't working, Benny. Oh man, you gotta see the pool honeys.
I actually read that it was really funny that like it was like swelteringly hot during all the production.
Oh, I'm sure.
Except for the day they had to do the pool scene, it was actually like overcast and cold, and so when they're all shivering, that's all like legit real shivering.
Yeah,
and that sucked. That like the whole time you're like, I cannot wait for the pool scene because it's so hot this summer. And then that's the one day that it's not. It's not hot.
That's probably why most of these kids quit acting, because I don't think any of them went on to do anything else.
Oh, I know the difference.
The redheaded kid was in other stuff. What was he in?
The Great Hambino. He's bit parts as the chunky redheaded kid.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them got really into the 60s.
He was hilarious. Like he had most of the funny lines.
he just it is that actually was a big difference that I noticed too, because in Stand By Me, everybody in that movie was huge in other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know. Not Chris O'Donnell. What's his name? Something
Jerry.
like that.
Jerry O'Connell.
I use in Sliders. And,
There it is.
Yeah.
Jerry O'Connell. I didn't know he was going to be in the movie, and so I'm like, hey, that guy. He's like a handsome dude now. Like he's not like the chubby.
That fat kid's
kid.
married to Rebecca Romaine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, he really grew up and came and
Stretched.
filled out. Yeah.
He stretched. But the difference between, because Stand By Me, everybody in those have had huge careers and
Until
some,
they died.
Of course, yeah, some cut short, obviously, which is really sad. But
Yeah.
and yeah,
Did you say Will Wheaton's career is huge?
he's known by a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's
And
had
I mean, he does his thing that he wants to do now. Like
Yeah.
Will Wheaton has an enviable career right now for someone like me who's a game nerd.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure,
Will Wheaton.
yeah.
As much as I dislike him on TNG, like I do not like the Wesley character at all. I think he's annoying. Even as
That's just in general who he is. Like I feel like he's just annoying in everything else he's done.
really no. I that's interesting that you say that. No, I feel like he's Donnie's 100% right. Like he's living the dream.
sure.
Yeah.
He's getting paid to test games with other super cool nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which I understand was probably a, super cool nerds, but you guys understood what I meant. But yes, Sandlot, no, you say that like, oh, it would have been, of course, just jumping over and getting the ball, but you had a mythical beast that needed to be slayed first.
Yeah. This was a heroic journey.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you guys have erector sets? Obviously, I like Lego, but like it's.
I never had an erector set.
No, it was Lego for me.
I think that was a little like before
Sorry,
even my time.
It was Legos for me.
That's fine too. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I just say it correctly.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I remember them still being around, but like they were phasing out and like new toys were taking over.
Yeah, my friends had a erector set. It just was like you had a lot of little like screws and pieces that could easily get lost. I think
It was a more advanced, but
Yeah.
like the thing about erector sets is that they, like in the movie, they were more readily accessible to electricity. Like you could add motors easier and everything.
Yeah.
I had an erector set that was a crane, and it it had just a little pulley that would like go up and down, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But they were definitely way harder than just a Lego set.
Yeah. I like the triple vacuum device. Like a lot of their devices were it was a lot of fun. It was the way you thought when you were that age. You know what I mean?
I think
Like, how
that
to
was
do
probably
things.
my favorite like sequence when
Yeah.
they're trying to get the ball with all their
Oh, so
brainstorming
good.
like Wile E. Coyote shit ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they almost strapped a rocket.
The pedals that would pull the rope up and he was on the like the catcher's what do we call that thing? The chest guard. What is that called?
Catcher's chest guard.
Armor,
Catcher's chest guard. All right.
leather
Anyways,
armor,
Yeah. Then
plus one.
Dang it, I couldn't say it fast enough. So good.
And then lowering him down and like pull me up. And he's trying to pedal. And he loses him. And he just panics.
You almost had it too.
Yeah.
You almost had
That's
it.
what was so frustrating. Is like you guys were so close. Like you had it in your hand, just toss it real quick, and then get yourself out.
Yeah.
You're a
that's
kid,
what's
man.
like-
You don't think straight.
And then I was
You
like,
don't.
they're just exactly. You don't.
But
And
we later learned that tossing it had no effect because the beast would
just catch it back again.
yeah.
Yeah.
The music whenever the beast would come out. But that's just how you thought, though.
Yeah.
You did, and like it's like, man, sleepovers. We haven't had a sleepover with the kids yet either.
We've done not like with a bunch of kids, but just like no, actually we did. Two kids came over, so it was like four boys.
That's
total.
a sleepover.
Yeah, it was a lot.
4 boys, that probably didn't smell great at all.
No, it was awful.
Oh,
they
that
tore
weird-
they tore our living room up.
That weird corn chip smell.
Yeah.
Now and
For
then,
us, it's grass and sweat. That's just because they're always rolling around and just getting stinky. Yeah. All right, now and then. It's good.
This episode is brought to you by WeAreDapperTies.com. We Are Dapper Ties is a company created by brothers Andrew and Julian who believe that feeling and looking great should be an affordable right for all. So whether you're wearing a suit and tie daily, heading to your first interview, an advocate of classy dates, or you just need good-looking ties, you need a Dapper Tie. Andrew and Julian have carefully curated beautiful designs to offer you a selection of knitted, elegant, unique, and affordable ties. Go to WeAreDapperTies.com and enter the promo code GOODER to get a free shipping on all your orders all over the U.S. Dapper Ties. Smart, affordable fashion.
It's good.
Now for the female version of these movies with a quickie with Big D.
Now and then, mind-bending sci-fi drama that posits a horrifying dystopia in which Christina Ricci grows up to be Rosie O'Donnell.
Right, that was the biggest mismatch.
Just Will Wheaton's not going to look like Richard Dreyfuss. The one that they chose for Demi Moore, the little girl from Hook. She was from. No, was she from Hook?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, she was from Uncle Buck. She was from Uncle Buck.
Okay.
No, Christina Ricci. We know what Christina Ricci looks like.
Not Rosie O'Donnell.
I mean, did anyone not have a crush on Christina Ricci after Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Of course, yeah.
Never saw it.
It's not a good movie.
But you had a crush on Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Everyone did.
After like Adam's Family.
Which is weird because she's not like typical like
That's not
hot
gross.
girl.
Like I was about the same age.
No, we
Like,
understand. It's okay.
I wasn't 30 when I saw Adam's Family. I was also like
Yes.
12 or whatever.
No, she was born in, I looked it up because I'm like, my thing was like, how much older than Christina Ricci is Rosie O'Donnell? It's like, I don't think that they're that far apart. They're 18 years apart.
I was struggling a little bit with like she was having her first baby and like they talked about it like being 30 years later and I'm like, wait, these girls were like 12 to 13, so she's having her first baby at 42. It just didn't seem to make sense.
They
The numbers
were,
didn't add up.
was it 30 years later?
She said 30 years later.
Okay, so this movie
It took
sadly,
place in 1970 and this was in 95, so it's 25 years later. But I thought they said 30.
Huh. Well, the movie came out in 95. Was it taking place in 95?
Yes, I
the
think so.
wraparound?
So maybe I'm misremembering the 30 years.
this movie did not hit home as much, obviously, as the other two because
Had either of you guys seen this?
I had not seen it before.
I hadn't even heard of it.
I figured you guys didn't.
No, we hadn't seen
It didn't get great ratings.
No.
But I remember this movie from being like a teenager when it came out. And to me, the thing that just stands out is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so good.
This is really good.
Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want
Brendan
me.
Fraser's in this
Yeah,
movie.
right.
Yeah.
He
We were
threw
watching
it,
it.
and they should not have stopped to hang out with the drifter.
Oh, I know, right?
I was so the difference is the other one's like, oh, I remember this is a boy, this is a boy, this is a boy. Like when I was on the other two, this one's like, my daughters are not going on a 2-day adventure to hang out with a drifter.
But it's okay for boys to do that?
But
No, it's not okay for them either.
what if he gives them all cigarettes?
Yeah, exactly. Like everything that's happening right now, like he's super creepy. They're all kind of hitting on him. No, it's just no. Of course, I'm definitely having a double standard here.
Yeah.
I am well aware of it. I am incapable of separating it in my brain at this point.
yeah.
The soundtrack's great.
Okay, so it was this weird, like, pedophilic sort of like scene, but the girls are gonna be attracted to like this mysterious older
I'm
guy,
attracted
right?
to Brendan Fraser. It's okay. I get it.
I mean, but I'm saying girls of that age are going to be.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not weird. I'm just saying that is not what I want to have happen.
That it is weird, but like, what is he supposed to do?
But yeah, I mean,
Just like get away from me, girls. Like I don't.
Yes.
despite corrupting them by giving them cigarettes, I mean, they lucked out. He was totally cool with
But
them.
the lesson he's teaching them, because he just came out of the army and he's sort of disenchanted with that. And he realized like, it's not everything that they tell you it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know?
No, he says some
And
heavy
he tells
stuff.
them
Yeah.
like, your parents don't know everything. Like, just know that you kind of got to find your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like an important lesson I think that he was teaching them.
And it's got the old man is it's Duncan from Robin Hood Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the one that had his eyes gouged out.
Yeah.
In Robert. Yeah, it's the old man. I'm like, it's good stuff. No, the
Crazy Pete.
Crazy Pete, thank you. Yeah, and Dear Johnny. Crazy Pete. Have some like real names here. No, but then also there were other things that did hit home was you fight and punch and kick girls that you like and everything just because you don't like mainly like if you're doing like I have emotions that I'm not able to deal with, so I lash out physically. Like
That's how you like show your affection for your guy friends too. You punch each other.
You punch, and so you do the same thing. I don't understand these feelings that I'm having towards you, but I usually just would like punch my friends if I like them.
Yeah.
But my feelings towards you are complicated, and I don't know how to do it because people don't have a good way of discussing sex. And that was really funny too.
It was interesting. Like there was the whole like the swing scene where like
The Warmer brother.
the Warmer brother was like
Warmer
gonna kiss
or
her.
Warmer? Yeah.
Warmer, yeah, the Warmer brother. He was gonna kiss her like that. She's the only character that they actually kind of followed like a love story with, or like something like that. But then as an adult, she's the one who seemed like she was the most like homosexual
Well,
Or
because
asexual.
yeah.
just because it could just be that that Rosie O'Donnell is a lesbian. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for them to cast Christina Ricci with Rosie O'Donnell, it just felt like that was something they were going to try and like follow that
I did
storyline a
think
little bit more.
It would have made a lot more sense for it to be Christina Ricci to be more.
Yeah.
I wonder if that like had an impact on her like self-esteem and shit. Like when she was, what was she like?
All the other girls, yeah, like
Melanie
everybody else's girls,
Griffith,
like,
to be
gorgeous.
more,
Yeah.
Rita Wilson, yeah.
You give me Rosie O'Donnell.
You give me. That's what it's like. It's like you're giving someone like a superpower. Wait, I get Rosie O'Donnell. Like, it's like, you know what it is? It's basically the same thing. It's like, oh, you have to be Captain Hook.
Let's see. Yeah, flight, invisibility. You can communicate with broccoli. Good luck with that.
The carrots have a consciousness.
But they're
They
talking
have
about
a life.
I had friends that they had the sex talk from their parents, and it went like it did for Rita Wilson's character.
Yeah, fertilizing the plant. Yeah.
Just like they said, my parents were very open. Like any questions we had, we always were answered in a mature way. Like we had a question about sex. I remember the sex talks with my dad. It was fantastic. It was a bonding experience, and it was really good. Like he was very emotional and just like really scientific. Like that goes there.
Did he tell
this
you
is
to
what
smack her ass and pull her hair?
Did not say that because that would have the her that you're speaking of is my mother. So no, we did not have that conversation. No, but he was just very and like any question we had, it was never like, oh well, we'll tell you later. Like they would tell me anytime that I asked a question. So I always feel like that mom, by virtue of being a mom, has had sex before. Does she feel like that was an accurate portrayal of the sexual experience?
But most parents think that if I just like be really vague and I scare my kids away from, then they won't have sex until they're adults.
Always the best way to go.
It's
vague.
Never going to work that way. Yeah.
Be vague and don't tell them any specifics.
That's how you don't end up a grandparent when your child is 15.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, we probably told them the truth and they was like, pass, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
Teach them about like venereal disease and what it's like to deal with a newborn baby. They'll be like, no, thanks. I'll wait.
And so she never had a kid until she was in her late 40s.
Late 40s, yeah.
I did think it was very funny when they sat down on the chairs and they still had the plastic on them.
Yeah.
I also
The grandmother was hilarious.
Cloris Leachman, who's still alive and still.
Is she really?
Yes. And she was just on Dancing with the Stars.
Huh.
She did a great job. That woman is incredible. I love her. She's,
Which is like knocking on the door and trying to get, I know you're in there.
I looked inside your car. I looked inside the garage. Your car's there.
And then when they go to visit her, like they get one sip of horrible lemonade and then she's like taking the cups back. And
too funny.
Demi Moore's child character, that was a bump. Like her mom switched to Hank Azaria really fast.
Yeah.
That would why was she supposed to be cool with that? Like be cool.
Yeah.
Like Hank Azaria was,
No, she wasn't supposed to be cool with that. I think it was an interesting like sort of character development that she's one of those people that can't not be in a relationship that needs she's a female, so she needs a man in her life. And especially in the 50s, I think that probably would have been pretty tough to go through a divorce.
Was this the 50s or was this the 70s?
This is the 70s, I'm sorry.
Still though, like
their neighborhood was beautiful with those
the gaslight
with the gas lights.
Yeah.
and whatever little where was this taking place?
This was in Indiana.
So this small town Indiana, there's probably some social like stigma to be a single mother.
Yeah.
I also call BS that you would need the town where you grew up, that you would need a map to know how to get there.
No, they needed a map to get to a neighboring county.
When Demi Moore drives home, she's like following a map.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No.
What would you need a map to get back to your hometown?
I could tell you.
I could get back to Bakersfield in my sleep.
Well, she's a writer though, right?
Yes.
So she's probably always drunk or doing drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So map might be a handy refresher.
It's true.
Yeah.
In a town
she might like have anxiety and stuff too, and she was driving by herself, so that might be maybe making her feel more comfortable.
Just pull up some MapQuest.
Yeah. Yeah, this was 95, so like you needed like a Thomas guide or something. Like there was no other way to find your way there.
How good? Like, what are your map skills? Do you feel like you could? Your map skills are good because you did Race Across America.
Strong, quite strong. Yeah.
I love maps. I think they're great.
Oh, when I was a teenager, like I loved maps. In fact, the very first time I went on Race Across America, I was 16.
There you go.
One of the prizes was like this CD-ROM disc that had like the entire United States mapped out.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I asked them for it. I was like, hey, can I have that? Like, I want that so bad.
It was really cool, and you guys probably, hopefully, will notice it when like you got to sit in the front seat with one of your parents, and you were in charge of the map.
Yeah.
The navigator.
Like you felt like
I was in charge of the map when we went hiking. We'd go backpacking up into Mineral King.
oh yeah,
And
we
so
did
I'd
do that.
have the map that had all the trails. And so like it was my job to figure out, where
See,
we were and track it.
That's different because I never did that. Mine was always on the road. Like, tell me when. Like, I have this miles. How many miles till it? Like, you would try and be like as accurate as possible. It was awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? This movie is very good. It was in the 90s, so you definitely had to have seances and Janine Garofalo.
Yeah, right.
You had to have weird witch spiritualism and Janine Garofalo in a movie because it's the 90s.
Yeah.
You see little Rumor Wilson?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that little
Willis.
girl. We're like,
Rumor Willis. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, Rumor Wilson. We were like, April watched this movie with me, and we saw that little actress, and we're like, she's familiar. Like, who is she? Like, we've seen her before.
Mm-hmm.
We did have to look it up because we couldn't figure out what else she'd been in. But yeah, little Rumor Willis.
Who is
Yeah.
that?
It's Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she played the sister of the Demi Moore
Oh, okay.
little girl.
Got it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what their names are either. I watched this movie an hour ago. Yeah.
Roberta, Teeny, Samantha, and Chrissy.
Okay.
So
What was that?
Chrissy-
Was that fourth one? Just kidding.
Well, yeah, she went on to die of a heroin overdose, so that's why we don't know
The real
that
actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chrissy, the girl who played like the kind of pudgy, naive girl.
Well, sad.
She ended up overdosing on heroin at 27, 26.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what makes me so sad about child actors. Like, parents push kids into this stuff because kids don't say, hey, I want to go to that audition. Like, that's a parent saying, hey, you could do this. You got the right look and you have some talent. Parents push their kids into this world that's just way too mature for them. And there's too much money flowing around, too many drugs, and they get bad influences really early on. And it's sad because there's a lot of young people who just can't deal with the pressure.
And then you see, and there's an obvious, even because when the girls were little, especially when they were like really, really little, everyone's like, oh, they should be little baby models.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
There's the upside, the 1 in a million chance they become super famous and they make a lot of money. Even that comes with so many bad things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying whatever, but it's just like, oh, they could be models. Like, no, thank you. Yeah. Like, they can make that. They can be in, and then like same thing with like being an actor, actress. Be in the stage play or whatever and everything. Work on your chops and everything. And then if you're passionate about it, then you go when you're an adult and you have like real emotions and like the ability to make decisions on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, we're adults now. I know we're all still winging it a little bit. So like in life, but anyway, this movie, of course, did not have the emotional impact that the other two did because I did see the other two when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your mother. All the moms sucked. One of them was dead, so she gets excluded.
She was the worst mother of all.
It was.
Is that what
This
you're
movie
saying?
was relatable in some ways, though.
It was very relatable.
I mean, I remember when I stopped taping my boobs down.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
figured you guys would kind of think that because even my wife was like, well, this is like a movie about girls. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's half of our audience is female, maybe more.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So I figured we'd pick a movie that represented them as well.
You get the, you know what it is? You get the pulse of the people, man.
Exactly. I'm
It was
I'm
okay.
a man of the people.
There were two things that I found problematic. First one was they focused on 15-year-old Christina Ricci's boobs way too much in this movie. It was weird. Like they even like had a pan out scene of her breasts at one point, and I was like, "This is wrong."
The camera's just constantly facing down, cutting off top of her head.
No,
like,
it's just
focusing on
like,
her chest
no,
for everything.
Counterpoint: they did not focus on them enough.
Oh, he said that with a smile.
But here's the thing, though. You have to think about this is a movie about females and probably geared towards females. And I do think that's probably part of the
It doesn't
experience.
address.
I understand.
We
No,
never
and
thought
so-
about our budding breasts because we didn't have them, right? But I think that a lot of young girls
Not
at that
until
time,
after we turned 40.
talking to my sister, like she says that is something that a lot of young girls are thinking about. Like when are their boobs going to come in? And so
Obviously, I
think
understand.
that's critical to that experience.
I'm not talking about it though. I mean, because like that I 100% agree.
A little gratuitous for you.
A little bit to where like the shot starts with just your breasts in frame and then moves out. Then also too much naked butts of
boy butts.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just like they were full blown like just there in the anyway. It just was a little weird. I just
You
found
saw no kid dongs, so it's all right.
sure hope not.
No, but again, I think that's probably something that girls are probably curious because they don't have something dangling between their legs. So they're like, oh, I want to see what it looks like, from these boys.
I also get that. You just don't need to like show it on screen.
They didn't show dongs.
And they showed butts. There's a lot of little boy butts in this.
Butts are not really considered nudity.
That was pretty funny though. Like
It was
it's a good
Here's the thing.
they did get the wormers back.
They
had it coming.
They definitely got it. Yeah, dude, she beats the crap out of that one kid that girls can't play softball.
Yeah.
And the problem with it is that softball is specifically a professional woman's sport.
Yeah.
So he is very wrong. Women do play softball.
Oh, did he say softball?
He said specifically softball.
Huh.
Like, hey, bro.
I said deja vu. I feel like we had this conversation one time before.
So who would win?
No, we talked about like there's only like 3 sports that have no male league and it's only women's leagues. I think softball's one of them.
Softball. Well, I mean, you have like intramural softball and like church softball.
I had a weird deja vu. Like I felt like we had this conversation.
So
I don't remember.
with
We're sitting
Superman.
in this room in exactly these positions.
They all run together after a while.
Yeah, like when has that ever happened before?
But I'm glad I've
I
seen
don't
this
remember
movie.
ever talking about softball, so maybe that was when you guys had your musical episode. I don't know.
We didn't even record those together.
Oh, yeah.
That was, but I did enjoy this. This movie actually is very enjoyable,
good. I'm glad you liked it.
And I think they need to do more because so many of the nostalgia movies are
Male-centric.
boy based.
Yeah, at this point they need to do like coming of age ones for like our actual eras. So like
Called Stranger
80s,
Things.
90s. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, never mind.
I almost because like I wasn't super into Now and Then at first, and then after I watched, it's like, oh, this movie's really good. I actually did enjoy it.
And you didn't like the soundtrack? I thought you'd jump on board with it.
I wasn't done, and I really enjoyed the soundtrack.
You didn't sing along with me.
I didn't. Sorry, it is. My voice is about to go.
Yeah.
So, but I almost texted you guys, hey, can we just talk about Stranger Things for the third part? It feels like it really fits.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was it. I'm done. Want to move on?
Yeah, I think so. It's good.
Okay, this would normally be a time for round 2 of our objectively good or replacement. We're about to do another 2 truths and a lie. We're going to call it 2 goods and a bad. But here's the problem. Corey knows everything about these movies because he researches them so hardcore that it just would not work. So we're going to take this time to, ask you guys, come up with something better. We're kind of tapped out emotionally and creatively. And
what do you want to hear?
We need you, right? What do you want to hear? Anyway, this has been Objectively Gooder. Please die.
It's good.
We don't declare each other the winner here at MGT. That's for you, the Twitter poll, and the House Un-American Activities Committee to determine. But we do think someone should win or lose, so that's what we have: gooder, badder, fugly. That is here to stay because we gotta do. One of the things that people always talk about when they first listen, you guys don't actually say who wins and which one's more gooder.
We do on the next goodie bag.
We do on the next goodie bag, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your winner, Corey?
Bill, Scotty Small's stepdad. He doesn't have to go to prison for murdering his stepson for destroying his prized possession.
Does get the rest of the 1927.
Luckily, he got a replacement. Yeah.
That is good. And then he gets his son out of it.
He would have murdered that kid.
Yeah.
Bill is also my winner.
Yeah.
Not only is he plowing Marion Ravenwood,
Right? Yeah.
he goes on a business trip for a couple of days, and when he comes back, his Babe Ruth ball is replaced by something 1,000 times better.
That's true.
Like, just everything's coming up, Bill.
That scene, even my mom, a girl, like it's just really, it's funny. My winner, there's really Benny the Jet Rodriguez. The dude gets a sweet nickname, goes to the pros. Dude's a multi-millionaire, and then he goes to his hometown. He has a nickname. His hometown loves him, like key to the city. Anyway, Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
I have 2 questions. I'm not like a baseball guy. I know I get the basics, but one. Can you steal home? I didn't
know you could steal home either.
And 100%
2,
could steal home. You guys not seen Major League?
Pinch runner? That's a thing?
Yeah.
What's pinch runner?
Where
That's what Benny is.
Benny doesn't actually hit. He's
not the batter. He just runs for people.
Yes, that's 100%.
I knew there was pinch hitters. I didn't know there was pinch runners.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's pinch runners and you can steal home.
You have to pair a pinch hitter with a pinch runner. So like the pinch hitter hits and then the runner runs.
I don't know. Not like a permanent pair.
Yeah, you can, everything you're saying is, yes, you can do those things.
Man, baseball's confusing.
right?
Baseball is not confusing. It's the hit ball over fence. We
Yeah.
do that. No, I mean, baseball has almost no rules, but yeah, basically, yeah, you can steal. You can
I
steal
don't
any
know
base
why
you
I was
want.
under the impression that you couldn't steal home.
No,
No, that's
The Jets
like
stole-
it's a common thought because when he was stealing home, I was like, I didn't think you could do that.
how interesting. No,
But
that's a thing. Like stealing, it is not
I
done.
think it's
ve-
still bases.
no,
Yeah.
stealing home it almost never happens because the pitcher
Is already throwing
is
it that way.
uniquely, yeah, it is specifically
staring at that
yeah.
base.
So it has to be done when like they're either someone has an error, they drop the ball or something. Like it is almost never done.
Yeah.
That's
or
why
if
it
they're
was
trying
such
to throw somebody out at a different base.
exactly. You can try and steal home, but you have to be demon speed fast. So
Or Benny the Jet.
or you
fast.
need to be Benny the
Yeah.
Jet Rodriguez.
We
Was he
can talk
still
about
wearing
it.
the PF Flyers? You think?
I don't know. We didn't talk about it, but the adult actor and the child actor are literal brothers.
Oh, really?
For
Which
Benny.
one?
For Benny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
That's good.
Sweet stash.
Very Freddie
It's
Mercury, right?
pedophile stash.
Yeah,
it was
very
weird.
Freddie Mercury. You guys got a loser?
Innocence and naivete.
Yeah,
They were lost.
yeah. Innocent Paradise was.
Yeah, my
lost.
runner-up was Crazy Pete. Like that dude lost a lot.
Oh, I know that sucks. Poor Crazy Pete. I'd gouge my eyes out and hang out with Kevin Costner too. Loser Tony.
My loser was Ace. He got owned by a 13-year-old. Like, how can he run his
With
gang
a
at this
45,
point?
yeah.
I mean,
Still.
they definitely. My thing is he was going to kill them later.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the fact that any of them survived to
He's probably
adulthood.
the one who knifed River Phoenix in the fast food restaurant.
I don't think Ace would get into an argument in a fast food restaurant. That's so unlike him.
So good. I love it. You guys, my loser was all the other women besides Rita Wilson because she knows what it's like to have the warm caress of Tom Hanks. Like, don't you want to know what that's like?
Also, now she has a daughter to fuck up.
Yeah, I know, right? Hopefully she'll be better. But that's all you can hope. Rita Wilson's married to Tom Hanks. Just throwing it out there. You guys got Fuglies?
Not Fuglies for me.
Not really. I guess pulling a leech off your balls is
That's pretty bad.
uncomfortable to watch.
Mine was a mix between the vomit.
The lard ass story.
Yeah, vomit. Mine was more of on the tilt-a-whirl.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty bad. Sandlot.
Because they all did throw up in real life on that.
It was
scene.
chunky, too.
Yeah. Oh, it was bad. Oh, yeah, it was really bad. But vomit. And then Corey Feldman's ear. That was really
Same
good.
thing with Stand By Me, the story that I read that one of the kids ended up actually throwing up from the scene because it felt so real.
Oh, it was really funny.
I figured your fugly would be in Sandlot when Benny first introduces the kid to the gang. They all spit.
They all do spit.
Yeah.
The spitting felt appropriate.
I guess.
So
Contextually, the spitting
the
was
spit
okay.
from the dog too, from the beast Hercules or whatever.
Yeah.
When God, I didn't like that. Yeah. Honestly, the funny thing is, there's a lot of Fuglies in these movies.
It's good.
So that is going to do it for us, the MGT Recording Bunker. For the next couple weeks, we're going to be vacationing. Corey, you have your trip to Paris to hang out with Wes Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, of course. I'll be hanging out
We're going to
with...
stop off in Budapest. And
Yeah, there you go. So you'll be... don't worry, we're still putting stuff out. It'll be new. But don't worry, we will be coming back with a not so surprising new episode in 2019. But thank you for listening, and we really appreciate you rating, reviewing, and subscribing to the podcast on whatever podcatcher you use. If you think you know anyone who would like our show, tell them about us. Please follow us on Twitter at MGT Podcast. We're on Instagram and Facebook at More Gooder Than. Email us at moregooderthan@gmail.com. Call our hotline at 661-489-7323. And visit our website, mgtpodcast.com, where you can support us via Patreon, like our great and powerful sponsor, Nan, and the rest of the Sacred Grove. While there, you can buy a nice...
roll of boob tape for those budding breasts with our logo on it.
got little MGTs right over the lips.
Oh my God. That'd be the home trees. It'd be the home trees. That's on our merch page. MGT logo designed by Mary Madewell. Home tree logo designed by Dan Nicholson. And of course, We're proud members of the Podfix Network. Follow us at Podfix on Twitter and podfixnetwork.com. So I guess I have to start using tobacco products. That's what these movies taught me. So I'll see you later. Bye for me, Chris and Corey.
Later.
And Donnie.
See ya.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network.
You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.